Welcome back, Qatar.
Welcome back from where?
The Hague.
Southern Europe.
Den Haag.
Kala from sub-Sahara.
Yun lang naman
Den Haag, the Netherlands.
Diba?
Naka-Picasso pa.
Hanggang The Hague, you were there, nandun ka. Pero hanggang The Hague, ang sigaw ng tao, sub-Sahara.
Naka-live na ba tayo?
Kanina
Hindi
pa.
naman naka-live. Naka-tape tayo.
Ay, naka-tape pala. Hindi kasi live tayo last time. Diba?
Okay, so welcome
Dahil
back.
may kasalanan.
Welcome back. Anong natutunan mo doon?
Marami. Nagsusulat na nga ako
Like
ng articles.
ano?
Did you have time to reflect?
No, so
on what
first
you
I
said?
went to Roma. First I went to Roma for spiritual rejuvenation
Okay.
after getting trolled like crazy, like 100 death threats a day, like 1,000 attacks every day. Wala lang sa akin yan, but I had to go to Rome kasi I was hoping to meet some priests and folks na alam ko na who were also involved in helping mga victims of EJK. And then nagkataon, swerte ako nung mass nung Sunday. That was also the time that Pope Francis returned to Vatican. And then I headed to Hague. Pagdating ko sa Hague, yun yung patapos na yung malawakan na event. So the Den Haag station was like full of Filipinos and all. And then may iba, I think they recognized yun na the smile na ako nag-smile. Which prepared me for the coming days because I dropped by the ICC.
They recognized you. They called you sub-Sahara.
That was at the detention center. So at the Hague station first day, I think everyone was tired going home and then I was like clean shaven, all medyo different din sa mga memes na ginamit
You
nila.
tried to be inconspicuous by shaving.
Not really, but I was in my shades.
Pero nakalata pa rin ang tao, alam pa rin ang tao.
Iba naman.
There's no escaping.
But they're nice. But I mean, most actually, before I debated, diba? I debated a couple of different big thought leader ng the Duterte side, and there's a room full of Duterte. So I'm used to
Sino
that.
mga thought leaders nila? Ibig sabihin,
I'm being nice, sir. See? Ako yung nice, di ba? Sino yung nice? Yung isa nasa Beijing na, yung isa nasa Tokyo na yata. So, you can guess.
Meron naman.
Kaya tatanong
They
mo
run
sino eh.
surveys, may
Ito dalawa to,
survey.
matatrouble.
They survey.
Wala siya sa lolo ko. Lolo ko, 110 yung death threats a day.
Pero that was just for that week. Ngayon medyo
So,
naglaila na.
sagutin mo, sino nga ba thought leaders ng DDS?
Yun na. Oh.
Well,
Tinatanong ni Ronald.
ngayon may bago sila, di ba?
Medyo-
Si Prof. Uy, parang kasing prof siya ni Ronald.
Si Ana Malindog.
Yun, parang parati siya nasa mga media na mga RT,
Hindi,
Russia.
I think
mga-
siya yung Richard Hidari nila. Kasi
Hindi.
geopolitics na tayo eh.
Yeah, kaso parang ulit ang publication niya. But yun ang closest to kanilang thought leader yata ngayon.
No,
In
there's...
But she's been around for a long time now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been seeing her for what?
Yeah, but she
400
was not
years?
very prominent until recently. I think recently lang siya naging prominent past 2 years, 3 years or so.
O sinong thought leaders
Kasi
ng mga
before
Bilao?
nun,
Ang thought leaders kasi, dapat meron silang, very thoughtful sila.
well, I'm not sure, like Ronald, you're a thought leader, but not a thoughtful person. Like, diba? Like, thoughtfulness is the last thing that comes to mind when we talk. But you're a thought leader.
Bago magsalita.
Oh.
I'm in the middle. Should I get a blur or...
So, no, anyway, so...
waiting for the joke,
Nakapag-reflect siya.
punchline.
Habang nasa
Wala
Europe
eh.
siya, nakapag-reflect siya.
Legitimate name, Malutikia.
Thought leader? Sino unang
Hindi,
tanong
but
natin?
is she okay?
Para
Pero
moderate
maganda yung
response.
survey nila last time, ha?
Publicus? Yes.
Sir Ronald, akala ko ako yung I make you more mabait. Parang baliktad ang nangyari dito.
It's all
Uy,
relative.
malapit na Holy Week, magpakabait kayo, ha? Magtika
Walang
kayo.
sumagot. Malutikia, the lady in
I don't
the
think
group
she
was
openly
asked a
identifies as
question. No,
like...
let's talk about thought
Well,
leaders.
she identifies herself as
Duterte?
pro-Philippines. No, pro-Philippines.
Okay,
She balks at the label pro-Duterte.
Oh, exactly. Pero yung iba, they're openly openly pro-Duterte. They're proud of that. They're openly supporting closer relationship
Yung
with China.
sinasabi ni Bato na si Digong daw ay pro-Philippines. Hindi daw pro-China.
It's actually a narrative naman eh. I mean, anybody can use that spin.
But speaking of that, I mean, my regret was I went to Brussels just a day or two before birthday of Digong, knowing Harry Roque will show up.
So hindi kayo nakita?
Hindi kami nagsama, unfortunately.
Ganda no,
That
magkasama
was
sila.
the ultimate, yun sana kasama
Well,
namin. ni
ultimate
Harry.
reunion.
And then I was looking at Harry Roque's interview kanina. Ang sabi ni Harry Roque is, basically Western colonizers ang nangyaring situation ngayon. Kumbaga, it's like Duterte is being held by Westerners, colonizers, ganyan.
Again, that's the narrative.
Siya yung nag-campaign na sumama tayo sa kon eh.
ICC.
Sa ICC.
And very interesting, he's applying for asylum in that very Western colonizer country. So so is Harry Roque a thought leader?
Hindi,
Ron
he's
up?
a contradiction in terms.
Yeah, he's the leader na walang ano tawag dyan. Di ba? I mean, why is everyone?
Tinatapos ko lang yung thought.
Sige na, Sir Ronald,
Sabi
let
mo,
it
leader na
out.
walang...
Let it out. No, is Harry Roque a thought leader?
No, he's a
He's a what? Sige
He's
na.
a rights lawyer.
He's a lawyer for somebody.
But-
And that
but
is
no
your
one
job.
is hiring him.
But as a lawyer, that is your job to defend your client to the death, right?
Ay, ba't di siya
Whatever-
kinuha as
Hindi
counsel?
nga siya kinuha ng client.
Unofficially. Pumunta pa rin siya doon.
Self-appointed, ano rin siya. Parang yung isa, self-appointed.
For a long time, sinasabi niya, siya lang ang kayang magdepensa kay Digong
Sa
sa
ICC.
ICC dahil siya lang ang DDS na accredited lawyer sa ICC. So, what happened?
But it wouldn't make sense kasi for him to do that.
I get the feeling na parang, what's the term? Parang ginanon siya ni Sara. Ni VP
Kasi
Sara.
nga daw, there's
Ditched. He was ditched.
there's videos of him
Sidelined.
circulating saying, don't
Things
vote
against
for
him.
Duterte.
Mamamatay
He's a
tayo.
mass murderer.
Yeah.
Pero dati pa yung...
From
Surfacing
2016.
videos From
Okay.
Pero
2016.
dati pa yung kumalat.
You think that was just it?
Sabi nila,
That could
can
be
be
used.
presented as evidence in the court. So
Yeah,
why would you
imagine.
have a lawyer who's saying don't vote for the
Yeah.
Duterte in the first place? Right?
He's
That
a
could be
mass of
used
contradictions
against
kasi,
you.
di ba? He campaigned
Yeah.
for Philippine inclusion in the ICC.
Is it human rights?
It's prudent
Ano?
not to
Campaign
put
siya
him in the
ng mali.
dynasty.
And then now,
Correct.
He's a liability,
He wants to
basically.
be, ano,
Yun ang tingin sa kanya.
Kasi
But he
may
recommended
flop siya.
Kaufman. But this is what I got from my sources. These are the same sources who told me last year na parating ng warrant of arrest. But they didn't tell me it was for Digong. I thought it's for Senator De La Rosa and others. They told me, apparently, for instance, logistics-wise, I got to know the delay was not in Dubai. It was in another destination. The other thing I got to know is everyone's confident, mukhang game over na to. That even kind of a temporary interim release or liberties
Wala na yun.
is very unlikely. And some were even saying Kaufman might, not Harry Roque, but like he might even abandon the case down the road because there was at least once in the past where Kaufman was forced to leave a case due to a conflict of interest issue.
Yeah.
But there's some people who are even more critical of him and thinking maybe he's just riding this for now and then eventually because the case is so airtight against Digong that they will drop off. I had the chance also to meet family of some of the victims, dropped by Attorney Conti, who is an assistant to counsel, ICC accredited assistant counsel. She's also very confident na it's almost certain Duterte will spend the rest of his life either in the trial and in that detention facility, or if he's found convicted, lilipat siya sa ibang facility. So iba yung detention facility niya ngayon and iba yung maging facility niya if ever he's convicted. The detention facility is actually in a very kind of a rustic, almost very quaint area. So you can imagine gaano ka-iritado yung mga tao doon. Even media.
Yeah,
Like
all
even
this
kami ni
chaos.
Jovi, nagsasalita kami.
In short, ganito, ano, wala rong banyo.
I don't know. It looks like a warehouse in the middle of all of these
Wala rong banyo
nice
mapuntahan.
houses.
Because rural area, it's not
and
a
then,
city.
exactly. You go out of city and then there's like
Yeah.
forest and there. So I walk the whole thing. So iritang-irita daw yung mga like kami ni Jovi, we're talking, biglang may someone in the kurtina gumana like, enough, we were trying to sleep. So imagine their feeling nung isang araw na nanggugulo, nagwawala ang mga tao.
Kaya nga,
So I think they were not
pinapalis na
prepared
sila
for
ng mga pulis eh.
Yeah.
No,
The whole it's a community.
And yet you have Attorney Kaufman saying to the AFP, Agence France Presse, yesterday, that he's got a compelling case.
Oh,
And
of
he's
course
gonna-
you'd say that.
No, but that
He's
he's
hired.
but that he's
paid a
going to
lot
challenge
to
it.
say that.
Yeah.
On what
they're
grounds?
gonna-
Jurisdiction ground?
pa rin. They're
So
going to
the
throw
best
it
chance,
out.
for instance, my understanding from talking to the people who know their stuff there is that their best chance is mag-file sila ng complaint on the circumstances of arrest in terms of the conduct. Pero ang pwede mong kasuhan is Philippine government. Sabihin natin, kunyari, na manhandle si Digong, na-injure siya, gano'n. Ang pwede na kasuhan yung Philippine government. But as far as the ICC is concerned,
Wala
their
siyang
concern is,
pakialam.
you are there, but we'll give you due process there. How you got here,
We don't care about.
I mean,
Yeah.
usually
Male
international
captus
war
belli
criminal
Yeah.
suspects, exactly.
detentus.
That's the Latin term. Like, it's not how you were brought here, it's how we treat you when you're here
No,
in our
parang
custody.
in Tagalog, male,
Cactus.
Malecaptus bene detentus.
Ibig sabihin, wala kayong pakialam kung paano kayo
How are you
huli.
captivated?
Dito kayo.
Captured,
Exactly.
oh.
That's exact.
We don't
that's the
care how you were
perfect
captured,
translation.
but while you're here in detention, we'll treat you
Pero
with due process.
binanggit mo
The
kanina,
Eichmann formula.
isang dahilan kung bakit hindi kinuwang counsel si Harry Roque dahil ang tingin nila, he is a liability.
Liability, yeah.
Ngayon lang nila na-realize yun.
Kasi they never thought abot sa time na pinaka-patriarch nila will be there in the detention center most
yun
likely the
ang-
rest of his life. I think you could see they're genuinely shell-shocked. And I was told, Robin Hood Padilla every day visits by the detention center.
He's not allowed in.
But only allowed in our consular affairs
Yeah.
guys and the family. So it's just there symbolically
yet
every day.
Robin has been staying in
For
The
more
Hague
than-
and not
Quite-
coming home.
2 weeks na ba? Has it
Long
been 2
enough
weeks?
for
Yeah.
him to like...
Oh, hindi naman siya legal counsel,
Hindi, kasi
hindi naman
March
siya
11 siya.
kamag-anak.
No,
So, bakit
hindi
siya
pinalaban
papasok?
presidential, di ba?
Hindi. Di ba may
Kailangan
pinusong sa chat
kumun-
group natin?
Kailangan niya kumonsulta para sa partido.
Yeah, diba? He's the head of party, chairman si Digong. So, I don't know how they're
Hindi,
communicating.
may hina naman yun. Wala kayo sa mali siya. Pinost ko na nga sa chat group natin sa
Ano to,
editors.
signal na naman to? Signal chat ba yan?
Ano?
Pinost ko na nga doon sa chat group natin sa as editors eh.
Hindi natin
Wala naman,
na-gets.
hindi naman ako kasama sa editors eh.
Pandit ka lang, pandit. You're a pandit.
Si Prof. Ronald Casal.
Oo, wala akong TF
Iba yung
eh.
group niya.
Walang TF. Hindi kasama.
Eto
Hindi sumagot si
Yung
Padre.
Hindi
menstrual,
ko na-gets.
kung ang menstrual may bulungang segment.
Oh my
sa
God,
atin,
pati
safe
nga?
house, walang
Oh.
magre-react ha.
Ah.
Hindi ko nga na-gets.
Oh. Oh, okay.
What does it mean?
Ang hina mo
So
naman
yun
po.
ang inspirasyon. Yun ang inspirasyon.
Oh,
Tapos black and white talaga, no? Talagang BMW,
Oh.
artistic
Well, now you have to show
siya.
it sa camera.
Parang hindi ka
walang
impressed
ganon.
sa Ronald.
Ha?
Parang hindi ka impressed.
Mahirap ako ma-impress. Sorry ah.
Ito na yung toxic masculinity. Ayan na.
Delikado
I'm just
yan,
from
Ayun
Europe.
na, ayun na, MTRCB
Ayan
na naman tayo.
Pag may labas yan.
Talagang naka-encircle talaga.
Patingin.
Naka-
Lapit mo naman, lapit mo.
Hindi impressed.
Yo, matanda na to eh.
Hindi ko makita eh.
I'm telling you, I'm not part of this thing.
Oh, you're distancing
I'm so
yourself from
Europe.
them.
I'm so Southern Europe. I'm
Ayun
so,
na naman tayo with the geographical references.
I'm so, politically correct.
Wala, hindi pasado.
Hindi pasado kay Sir Ronald.
Let's come back to your issue.
Oh my God, ito na.
Naiintindihan mo why you got into trouble for saying that?
When you, I'll tell you what. When this has been happening to me for the past 10 years. Whenever I do a whole series of marathon of international interviews, like 3 CNN, 4 Al Jazeera, whatever, ganun, hahanapin nilang butas. They'll try to twist it to make it look like.
But this is the worst issue by far.
no,
It just inspired
Uy, ano?
1,000 memes.
because
Costumes, kits,
Because-
and complete with
Let's be
full
absolutely clear about it.
production.
Okay, first of all, on my side, I was asked by Becky Anderson on a screen that I cannot see anyone on my 12th interview of the day, 11 p.m. This is the day palang the ICC is happening. Duterte is being brought. Emotions are high. I was asked out of nowhere. The questions were on ICC. Why is Duterte so popular? Why is so
Yeah,
many people?
oo nga.
So first I said every
Absolutely.
country, democracy, you see they have a kind of a populist base.
Yes,
They talk about the
yes,
MAGA
yes.
movement. See,
Okay,
these are-
okay ka ba
this
dun?
is literally
Okay ka ba dun?
1
Okay.
minute.
And then-
that was already controversial.
and then-
the other thing I said is, diba, this is the context of bakit federalism ay benta dun sa mga kababayan natin. I talk about the gaps in development and the
grievance.
and
You
what
used the word
grievance and
Mindanao.
legitimate grievance.
That's right.
And the term I used was Human Development Index, not GDP, not income,
Simple lang naman
which
yung-
looks at comprehensive sets of
Which means that
indicators.
educational
Yes.
level of attainment.
That's the implication
And the
here.
latest data I had seen, and I haven't confirmed with NEDA if the 2024 I found the last week is still confirmed. NEDA uses 2022, the latest.
probably
The
not that
HDI of Benguet province, where I come from, Baguio, is almost 0.88 or something like that, which is almost like,
Southern
of course,
Africa.
in 30
Southern
seconds,
Europe.
I cannot go barangay here versus
yeah,
barangay in
yeah,
Croatia
okay,
or
okay.
Chile, right? But like it's comparable to Croatia or some of the Southern European countries. And then, of course, if you go to some, for some reason, probably I said from the part I come from in the north. I didn't say part also of Mindanao. If you look at it, actually, the HDI is medium to just high, which is comparable.
And there are
So
some parts na underdeveloped
some
pa rin,
parts,
yes.
and when
Yeah.
so of course the using of Europe and then Africa was to emphasize the part for a global audience.
okay,
Of course, you didn't have time to break it down. Like
Okay.
HDI Lanao del Sul, HDI, I couldn't do that, right?
Alam mo,
Did you
realize-
realize,
30 seconds.
Did you realize that people didn't hear HDI they heard sub-Sahara Africa.
No, first of all, did people
I think
even
that's
did
where
people
it got better.
even watch it's CNN. I doubt I don't have subscription to CNN.
yeah.
I only got the video
I'm
via
trying
Becky
to say,
Anderson.
do
No,
you-
no
don't-
one
don't
watched
you
the whole
realize-
video.
Don't you realize that they only heard Mindanao, sub-Sahara Africa?
Well, you explain
Actually,
to
hindi
me.
lang yun.
Huh?
I lived in Mindanao eh.
Oo.
No? Si Ed, madalas din sa Mindanao. It has nothing to do with logic or reason or
Right.
or wrong.
It's
Pag kinumpara mo
emotional.
mo sila sa mga
It's
Ilocano.
emotional.
Pag kinumpara mo sila sa mga Ilocano
Oh.
o mga Kapampangan,
galit din.
Yun na yung regional,
medyo
ano.
intention.
That's why I said inadvertently, if I contributed to I said I apologize for that. But for mentioning the facts of Human Development Index, I cannot be blamed for that unless you have a more updated version. So when someone forwarded to me from the north of the country, na professor, na some data to say
Yeah.
2024, actually most provinces are high HTI, and even ours
Richard,
is medium. I mentioned that.
To press on the point that I think Regine was trying to drive at. Lessons learned.
I always have lessons learned.
Wait. Maybe not lessons learned. Do you regret making the comparison?
No.
Because you
I
understand
regret,
why it was
no, I regret
misconstrued.
that I didn't choose the right platform to elucidate on that
Oh,
point.
that's
Kasi
so
at that point-
CNN. Well, I mean,
but you only have 30 seconds to explain. Remember, like you have 2 minutes. They have 3 questions to you. The big question was ICC. It had nothing to do with this. And then Becky Anderson, I think because she's based in Abu Dhabi, she sees many OFW support. So I think parang off the cuff lang she just asked, oh, but I see a lot of... So ako rin, parang medyo aside lang siya just to show.
Yeah.
Actually, I was trying to show logical yung support kay Digong because there's this sense of disenfranchisement and this sense of inequality. And
you
neglect.
think it would have resulted in something different or there wouldn't be the blowback if you did not mention sub-Sahara Africa?
Yeah, I think
Actually,
definitely.
the same
yeah,
UN
and definitely
Development
prejudice.
Index.
Yeah, what
But
if you
yun nga, I was
mention, for
talking about
example,
the-
a different part of Europe that's a
Hindi,
less
but yun nga,
developed?
like-
But kasi,
It's a global audience, eh.
You put together 3 words that are that people might conflate with something else. Sub-Saharan Africa. No.
Yeah, because
People
iba yung North
tend to-
Africa. North Africa's dynamics is very different. They're mostly, it's more
It's more
similar to the
developed.
Middle East. So it's actually,
It's Southern
Sub-Saharan
Europe.
Africa, it's a technical geography. So you have North Africa and the Middle
yeah.
East.
Yeah.
So if you go from Algeria to I don't know, Saudi Arabia to all the way to Iran, like that's a continuous region. When you say Sub-Saharan Africa, it includes very rich countries like Botswana or South Africa.
That's true.
And
that's
actually,
true.
if you look at HDI of Cameroon, Kenya, it's actually medium to medium high. And you can find regions within these countries, Nigeria, Kenya, Cameroon, that actually have almost high HDI. So for me,
Tama lang, Bok,
from
tama
a
naman.
factual
Tama naman.
standpoint,
It's just that
wala.
these are 3 trigger words eh.
And
that people
emotions
will-
are high. I'll
Correct.
say you last thing. The timing was also very important. Ronald and I discussed this. Many people know.
Yeah, sinabayan mo yung galit ng mga taga Davao at
Because
Mindanao.
exactly because the Duterte
sa
arrest
ICC.
was being portrayed not as an attack only as a former president, as an attack on the whole people of Mindanao and all of that, right? So kung titignan mo, basically ang narrative is Marcos, anti-Duterte, all of these horrible people from the north
perfect storm.
oppressing us.
Correct.
So kumbaga,
Correct.
that was the
Yeah.
narrative building. Perfect yung
Yes.
part na yun. They
And you
splice it, they
walked
put it
right
there.
into it.
Well, I didn't walk right into it. It walked into me. Let's not get it walked into me. Like I was just doing my thing.
It
Like,
crashed
whoa,
into
whoa, hey, whoa. It's like, parang ganun. But I had worse back in the day when Duterte was in power. They will twist my words, everything like that. I had it worse. And it was scarier known because they were in power everywhere, right? Even so, I had cousins and family saying, "Come back to Baguio. You know, you'll be safer." I said, "No, but you know, Manila is, you know." I want to say something, but maybe in a different
naman
plot.
with
But
your
my point
comparisons.
is, I had worse. And every time you go through this kind of storm, you build resilience. But more important, you also understand that everything is not about data, logic, and analysis. And even though you're talking to a global audience, remember there'll be people who will try to twist it to make it different to a
just
local
want to
audience.
think about ano.
Nietzschean. What doesn't destroy you will strengthen you.
Will make it
Or,
stronger.
from Nietzsche to Aimee.
Nox!
But Aimee was supposed to
We
be
go from
quoting
Nietzsche
his
now.
mother. To battle is human, to dead
To
man
dead man is
divine.
divine.
Dead mice.
To dead man is
Kasi parang
divine
in a way,
is...
pinatula mo yung mga nagbabash sa'yo.
Yeah, but it's...
Sinabayan mo.
But,
You don't
okay.
believe in that?
I don't believe in that. I mean, first of all,
After asking you, after answering that, tanong natin si Ed next.
no, exactly. No, first of all,
Expert in the
it's very
end.
odd. Just watch The Apprentice, for instance. The Donald Trump, I don't believe, I'm critical of Donald Trump and all of that, but that guy has proven that the best defense sometimes is offense. That you don't give a quarter to people who are twisting your words and
Kakasundo
trying to give
kayo.
an enemy. Exactly. But having said that, because of the emotional sensitivity, you also open up and say, yeah, I could have done it better, I could have been more sensitive and all, but the best defense is still offense. Oh no, you spliced my interview. Oh, did you watch the full interview? So I did that. So I did a combination of clarification, context, but at the same
And
time,
attack.
I am a victim. Yeah, this was a disinformation mechanism, and unfortunately, there were people who were misled by that disinformation. Imagine mo, the guy gives like, I can speak very fast. In 2 minutes in CNN, I can say like
No,
10
I
paragraphs.
get what you're trying
but they
to
get
do.
like this
Yeah.
slice, and then they put like my most Konyo look. And then obviously, this Konyo
I
guy, this
get what
like,
you're-
so this is character assassination. Am I gonna go there and I'm not artist, I'm not celebrity, I'm gonna go there and say sorry and all of that. I'm gonna go there and explain this is the context, etc.
Problema ko yun napapakita ko ng konyo. Konyo, itsura ko rin siya. Konyo.
Pero
Talaga?
iba kasi
Sino
ibig sabihin ng
nagkamali?
konyo eh. Alam mo, ibig sabihin ng konyo.
Sino nagkamali?
Yung literal. Yung literal ibig
No,
sabihin.
but you know, honestly, the best advice is off the record. I'll not say what Ronald, but Ronald's advice to me and some of our other friends was also very good. At the end of the day, you have to be sensitive because we all have a good goal, which is to close the gap, work together.
Ay, kasi Ronald yun?
Ronald yun?
Ronald didn't say that. But Ronald, kasi nung una, I was in the Donald Trump like fight back mode, and then Ronald said something to me, and I said, oo nga pala. So actually, if you look at that, exchanges with Mayor, I think City, right? Of
Oo,
Isabela.
yung...
And she actually
Mayor.
eventually,
I
we
saw
had
that.
back and forth, and she eventually she realized that actually there was a
So
bigger
ba't mo
context.
nasabi
ganun,
kayo?
ganun.
Baka naawa ka lang kasi medyo...
No. Because
Ah,
Ronald talks to the right
Ako kasi
group people.
na-identify ko rin yung sarili ko na biktima eh.
Biktima ka ng ano?
Sabi niya biktima.
Biktima ka ng ano?
Sabi niya,
Ba ikaw?
sabi niya, he's a victim eh.
Siya sabi
I'm
niya,
a victim
biktima
of
ako ng mga-
disinformation.
Tribal na lagi akong hinahatulan.
Wala ka naman social media. No one, you never know who's attacking you. You have no social media.
Kaya nga masaya buhay ko eh.
Exactly. That's why you're not a victim. That's why they
Kaya
cannot
nga-
send you
kaya nga wala
1,000
akong-
death threats a day.
Wala akong toxicity.
1,000 ngayon.
Kaya
No. Kung Ronald kasi mas
Napansin niyo
hated
ba?
than me eh, di ba?
Napansin niyo
Ako
ba?
100 lang eh.
Napansin niyo ba kung ako ay toxic? Hindi. Di ba? Dahil wala
Napansin
akong...
namin kung ikaw
Yun yung sinasabi ng mga toxic people.
Yes!
Di ba? Denial is divine. Hey Ronald, denial
Denial is the name of a
Ang sarili ko
river,
yun eh.
Egypt.
Nagpo-provoke ako ng reaction, na-provoke naman.
ang laki yung mata.
Entrapment eh.
Kasi
Entrapment.
Ed, di pa natin naririnig yung sagot niya.
Ikaw nga Ed. Oh, ikaw Ed.
Patol
As
is
a good
human,
person.
To deadma is divine. Quoting Amy Marcos.
Well, that's her point of view. I look at it as jiu-jitsu.
Political
Exactly.
judo.
Pag sinuntok ka, pari and make him tumble over.
On his own-
Use it to your
over his own
advantage.
strength.
Ganon.
Over his own
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah, or his own stupidity.
Oh, I won't go down that road. I'm a nice
But
guy.
it's a black hole, right?
No, it's
You
not.
go into it, you
Yeah,
will
it's
never
never
win the
ending.
argument
You go
kasi
deeper.
But
you are
you-
trying to
Richard,
argue with
nice
logic.
guy,
No, no, no.
victim.
But Deadma is a bigger black hole.
I'll
Because
tell
if
you what,
everybody falls into
I
that
got-
black hole,
I
then
got-
everybody's
I
ignoring
completely
what's
agree. I
happening.
actually use this in the jiu-jitsu. I got 40,000 new subscribers in the past month alone. And
Siyempre,
most...
pati mo,
Parang, ang logic mo naman, engagement pa rin yan.
No,
engagement pa rin.
That's
true.
No,
Engagement
engagement
pa rin.
number, I can
That's
talk about
the
the
money.
70 million views. No, but I was talking about, out of these people, a lot of them would comment and message me, we had no idea about who you were, and then we saw that meme, we got curious. Apparently, you're not that bad person. Apparently, you have sensible commentaries. And then may mga iba nagka-comment. You can go to my YouTube right now and look at the comments. They're heartfelt comments that, oh, I'm sorry we misunderstood you. Oh, we were misled. So actually, those are what encouraged me that the jiu-jitsu metaphor works. Because suddenly, a lot of people are curious, sino ba itong mga konyo na ito na parang
Hindi naniniwala
kapal lang
si
sinasabi niya? And then they look at what you say, ayaw nga pala, hindi
Reaction
pala siya
shots.
ganyan ka. Ano? Do you get what I'm saying? So actually, and not to mention, of course, so it's not just engagement, it's the
So feeling
quality
mo-
of new people you bring.
Right,
It's
so
not feeling,
you're-
it's numbers.
You're reaching new audiences.
Or the audience who just saw you in passing became much more curious what's going on with this guy.
Parang,
Pero you also have to be careful.
Somebody
ano eh.
doesn't agree.
Even if your numbers go up.
No, it's not the engagement. It's the people willing to suddenly listen to you and are curious and are looking at your vlogs, and because I can see that in hundreds of comments over the past few weeks. Like, sir, actually before I only saw you
that's
once
why
here
you
and there.
kept at it. You kept going on.
Yeah, and then you engage them back.
Richard, ayaw pa tumigil eh.
Para sa
Pero
kanya,
naisip namin eh.
para sa kanya,
I- I-
any,
I-
any
certain
publicity is
analytics.
good publicity.
Tama ba yun?
Oo, yun, gano'n. No.
No, but that would cheapen the kasi if you're just for the publicity and all, then you're just gonna keep create controversy. But I was trying to clarify, contextualize, give like that. So you have to come from a sincere angle. Otherwise, you cannot sustain it. Otherwise, you're never gonna be credible if you're just riding controversy after controversy. Remember, I'm still dealing with a global audience. I'm still going to Brussels and meeting officials. I'm going to Washington, D.C. It's important for me not to just do things for the sake of engagement. It's important for you to be clear about your purpose, clear about your context, and at the same time, if you think you have made a mistake or you've gone off the rails, you make adjustments and clarification. So in short, I'm not sure how successful Amy has been in her own life, so I won't take any advice from her. No offense. I will take advice from people who are more politically successful than her. I don't agree with Donald Trump, but I think Donald Trump's attack
So kaya
has
nga,
a point to a certain
so
degree.
now you're taking a leaf out of Donald Trump's playbook.
I think if you look at successful left
Are
populists,
you moving in
people-
that direction?
No, I mean, I think if you look at our era,
Politics
in this
aside,
era of
it's a
disinformation,
strategy.
Oh,
yeah,
it's a
in this era of
strategy.
disinformation, jiu-jitsu is your best way. If you're silent and take punches lang, walang mangyari sa'yo. If you just attack lang and defend, wala rin mangyari. You have to combine them. So it's not only jiu-jitsu, it's a dialectical approach to this. It's an offense-defense
call it
clarification.
Jeet Kune Do.
Sige na nga, ano na lang, Tai Chi.
Sabi ni
Tai
Uncle
Chi.
Bruce.
Sige, let's Tai Chi it. I don't martial arts, mixed martial arts. So, I can't see the parallels or metaphors of that. Yeah.
Paliwanag ko muna kay Reg yung dialectical materialism.
No. Like, it's a back and
Yun,
forth thing.
dialectical materialism.
Oo.
Because of me,
But-
Human Development Index
but
was
I-
the most researched
But
technical term
I do know
in the
about,
world last
I do
month.
know about Human Development Index.
Oh, yeah.
And what I was gonna say is,
It is below.
hindi naman. I don't know. We all understand what you're trying to do, which is contextualize it for a global
For a global-
audience
in 30
who are
seconds.
not familiar with
Province by
regional
province,
politics
urban by urban,
and
barangay by-
demographical
yeah.
breakdown, etc., etc. Pero medyo insulting kasi yung pagkaka-compare. Right?
You know,
and by the
if
way,
they didn't- if no one spliced that part
the
and didn't
Duterte
emphasize it,
phenomenon
no one
can
would
be
have-
explained not just by Human Development Index and
Jesus
educational
Christ.
differences.
I had 1
It could-
minute,
it-
so I discussed. Basically, I have a whole book on Duterte, right? So we can talk about 4-hour lectures. You can go online and look at my lectures in Harvard Law School, Stanford. I had 30 seconds to explain na support for Duterte has actually legitimate basis. Now, this is not just a bunch of fanatics. In fact, I was trying to be understanding. Ang point ko is, I understand that. Because, for instance, Ilocos region in the north of the country used to be one of the poorest regions of the country 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Then Marcos came along.
And then Marcos came and actually developed it. Literally, I was almost born in the Marcos Highway. And electrification went from 20% to 70%. So there are many people who are very loyalist to Marcos. Not only for tribal reasons, but because he actually brought a lot of development. My sense is there's a parallel also here because under Digong, there was a lot of infrastructure
Yeah.
projects. Not the big one. So in that 30 seconds, I was trying to explain, do not orientalize Philippines. Do not other the supporters of Digong. A lot of them actually have legitimate reasons to be supportive of Digong, especially those who come from regions who feel legitimately that they have been abandoned or because of war and conflict and all, diba?
Or
yun yung context.
disenfranchised.
Again, that's what I'm saying. People are trying to, was it like Monday quarterback this and whatever? Like, that's pathetic. You only have 30, 40 seconds. You want to put the context. It was not even, the interview was about ICC even. Right?
correct,
And I had
yeah.
12 other interviews that day and all. You can check, starting with Lord De Vera and all. And some of our morning shows here, this was at the evening. Emotions were high. We're checking, is Duterte going to be taken to Hague? Is there going to be transit issue? So I think if they did not splice exactly that part and then just put it in the meme with my face and all, you wouldn't get the reaction. But having said that, Ed is absolutely right. There's certain imageries that you
Yeah.
have to avoid
So, did you
because
see
of
the
the
memes?
pre-existing
Did you see the
sensitive-
memes?
Huh?
When people started wearing African.
Yeah, and
costumes
no, I saw it on my
the
TikTok.
scarlet
There-
go,
it
go,
became a
go,
reggae
it was
genre.
drum. Yeah, so
I think marami nagalit when I said, wait, now you are actually saying things
you
about
accuse them
Africa.
of being racist.
No, I said,
Slightly.
well,
Diba?
like, have
They
these
were
people-
stereotyping.
have they been to Africa? Like, they were showing like primitive people. That was racist.
So
That was racist. Showing people
Honestly,
in hotel. No, that's not Africa.
I found the memes
Africa
very
is
funny.
diverse.
The content that they were creating was quite funny.
Yeah, it's quite funny, but you ask the
Nakakatawa.
Africans if they want to be portrayed that way.
No, of course
No,
not.
you
Of course
asking
not.
about
Right.
you.
That's why I
Did you
posted.
find humor in it? Did you find humor in it? Or
I'm
did you
glad
feel-
that we Filipinos can always transition to humor. And if you look at me, I also use a lot of humor. Yeah, a lot of humor. I don't know about Sir Ronald, but I use a lot of humor also. So, speaking of jiu-jitsu, ang tingin ko in our era, you shouldn't only be only offense and explanation. You also have to have humor, including dark humor. But I think
Dark
that,
humor.
But I think that humor also came with, again, some legitimate grievance na yung mga taga north of
Oo,
Philippines look
correct.
down at us. Ganun.
Yeah,
So we
that's
want to
what it
defy
came
that.
across
Yeah,
as,
so ako naintindihan ko talaga yan. Kaya I felt hurt because, people ask me, have you been to Mindanao? I said, yeah, I've been to Marawi. I was there right after the war. Have you been there? A lot of them. I've been all across Mindanao. Not as much as maybe Ronald, who was a Rambo and leader there. But I've been around.
AK-47 yan.
Yeah. And then I asked them, have you been to Africa? Have you been to Botswana, South Africa? Have you been to Abuja? Have you been to Kenya, Nairobi? And then you look at the images they're creating.
Sanya,
I
sanya.
said that was inappropriate. That was inappropriate. So I think it was revealing on so many. That episode was revealing for all of us. Revealing for me that maybe I shouldn't just look at the global audience. I have to be much more sensitive about images
Yeah.
that's used. But it was also revealing in other ways that you can connect the dots yourself. It's like, wow, is that your image of Africa? Is that the right way of being humorous about it? Parang, I'm not sure about that. And then, logically speaking, there were a lot of people responding and all, but the reality is that you have a lot of dynasties in parts of our country are holding back development. Why are they not being blamed?
But Richard, calling yung support for Digong as legitimacy.
As part of it is legitimate, yeah.
Kukontrahin ko yon dahil
Ayan, okay na.
Okay na.
Let's
Bakit?
go.
Bakit?
dahil na-weaponize niya yung historic injustice sa Mindanao. Pero that doesn't mean na legitimate yung support sa kanya. No? Dahil kung titingnan natin yan as legitimate, mahihirapan tayong mag-move on mula dun sa culture of impunity, institutionalized violence na in-introduce niya sa ating lipunan. No? Kaya di ko tatawagin siya na legitimate support. No? He was able to weaponize yung mga contradictions, yung mga injustices, historic or political economic, but I do not consider it legitimate. It is weaponization of those legitimate contradictions and injustices. Pero yung
Nagamit.
support sa kanya is anything but legitimate. Dahil tingin ko, the Filipino people, especially Mindanaoans, are better than that. No, na hindi nila susuportahan yung ganitong klaseng
Wala siyang
impunity.
social media.
Hindi niya susuportahan.
Imagine na-splice tong part na to.
Hindi na susuportahan yung ganyang klaseng crimes against humanity. At yun yung unti-unting lalabas dito sa ICC hearing. No? At unti-unti rin, marirealize ng mga tao na, teka, hindi mali yung aming pagsuporta sa kanya. No? Medyo ang sinusuportahan namin ay yung paggamit niya dito sa aming historic na marginalization, historic na injustices, which has anything to do with the legitimacy of the Duterte project.
Tagal niyang inipon yung ano.
No, it's a legitimate grievance that populists always exploit, right? Kaya nga,
I think Ronald just has a problem with the word legitimate.
No, but also,
legitimate yung grievance.
I don't think...
Haven't we done
Is it
injustices
right?
to Mindanao?
Is it right for us to question legitimacy of the support of the base? I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah,
look
pag
at
That's our sentiment, right?
Yeah, look at the OFWs. Look at
Pag sinabi mo kasing legitimate, no, ay tama yung ginawa niya. No? Ang sinasabi ko, hinihiwalay ko yon. Hinihiwalay ko yung...
It's not for us to say it's not legitimate and legitimate.
tingin ko as a nation, hindi tayo makaka-move on Diyan sa moras na yan.
So how can we
Diyan sa
move on,
quicksand
Ronald?
na yan
Yeah.
No? Kailangan natin i-expose. No?
Yeah.
Even if it's like tearing large chunks of our flesh. Na
But Ronald, siguro,
hindi lang sila because 93% in 2020 supported Digong at the height of Tokhang. Ibig sabihin kasama, hindi lang Mindanaoan, pati tayo.
Correct.
No, pati yung mga Tiga-Luzon ay nagkaroon ng problema. At yan ay napakahalaga na daanan natin, whether yan ay truth commission, whether that ay introspection on a societal level, kailangan natin balikan. Why did that happen? Paano ano yung, it's not about legitimacy. Dahil yung 93 support natin sa kanya, para sa akin ay not legitimate. No? Meron tayong, in short, nabudol din tayo. No? Hindi lang Mindanao, hindi lang Visayas, buong bansa. 93% approval rating ay 93%. No? And is that legitimate? I don't think so. No?
Couldn't it be na
Baka
may
nagkakahiwalay
iba
tayo
kasing
sa ano eh.
naratibo ang mga taong sumusuporta kay Duterte? For example,
He's taking a moral
for
stance
people
kasi, yeah.
more or less on the
He's
left
taking
of
moral
center,
stance,
they
yeah.
look at the killings, EJK. But for this OFWs, I imagine they don't, it's not the EJKs that are top of their mind. It's something else about Duterte.
Hindi, that's
why they like it.
That's a different
macho,
issue.
relatable.
Sabi ko lang, the support kay Digong ay hindi legitimate. It is based on something else. No? Pag sinabi mo legitimate, sinasabi mo tama yan eh.
Tagalogin natin siguro. Karapat dapat versus
That's
totoo
right.
ba?
That's right.
Ako, ang
Parang
sinasabi ko,
bagay.
ito yung
Parang
hugot,
bagay.
ito yung pinanggalingan.
Actually,
I didn't
gusto ko
pass
lang
moral
kontrahin si
judgment.
Richard.
Ang sinabi ko lang, may pinanggalingan itong
Yes.
support na to. Yun lang
Correct.
sinabi ko. Hindi na ako nag-pass ng moral judgment. Kaya nga nalulungkot ako na parang ganun yung intindi ng ibang kababayan natin. Kasi hindi naman yun yung moral judgment ko. I was just explaining na may pinanggalingan ito. Hindi dahil XYZ yung mga tao. Kasi yun ang pinakayaw ko yung when you orientalize people. You say, oh, itong mga tao to, ganito yung mga parang blind followers, fanatics. Ayoko ng ganun. You have to explain saan galing. Or for instance, a lot of OFWs I met na Duterte supporters, sabi nila, you go abroad, you meet oppression, you need racism, whatever. And then in Digong, they saw a strong leader who could, cause the
but
American
that's-
leader.
yun
Yung
na nga
parang
eh.
gives them a sense of empowerment. Ganun. Again,
No,
Ronald
but
would say that's not legitimate in a sense of it doesn't justify you supporting, I don't know, EJK or whatever.
It
But for them,
doesn't.
Dahil meron talagang,
it's what gives them affinity
meron
to
talagang
Duterte.
blind support. Kahit naman si
Yeah.
Hitler at si Mussolini,
Lahat
may
naman
blind
meron
support
eh.
eh.
But-
So
but-
you have to call a spade a spade.
But
Kung
that's-
gusto mong umalpas doon, kailangan mo i-accept.
But Ronald, hindi monolithic yung base ng DDS eh. Like for instance, I had a piece, 5 versions of DDS. They're DDS like Harry Roque, na sumakay lang sa di ba? There are people who are technocratic.
You don't think he ideologically aligns with them now? I mean,
You want me to go through all his videos, his human rights I mean,
yeah, I know, but maybe he changed his mind at some point in his life. Sabi niya, okay,
I
I'm
won't be
more aligned
surprised he
with their
changes his
ideology.
mind in 6
Again.
months again. Exactly. So my point is there are people like that
Yeah.
who are part of this, but and then there are other people who may not agree with the drug policy, but they agree with the federalism. We have friends
Yeah.
even here who are
Yeah.
saying,
I know people who
that's why I
agree
was trying to
with the
explain federalism, but
federalism, yeah.
so parang they're willing to, may hollow effect ang tawag yata dyan. Parang if you agree so much with one person on one issue, you're willing to turn a blind eye on other issues, right? You can see that with a lot of controversial figures. Like, yeah, hindi ko gusto yung ganun. Pero at least okay siya dito eh.
Pero Richard,
Or
kaya
even
nga-
BBM now, I can see people who didn't like BBM. They said, pero okay siya sa West Philippine Sea, so I'm willing to give him a pass. Or at least, hindi.
The
You know
halo
what I'm saying?
effect.
So you have to understand, it's not like nag-accounting ng mga voters. A lot of times the voters like someone for something
For
that
one
is
thing.
more emotional
And
or
then
one
dun na
policy
sila.
issue na
Yeah.
close. I have, for instance, there are relatives of mine who really love Duterte because he pushed for divorce because of their horrible experience. There were some people who had parang drug addicts in their family, horrible experiences, traumatized. They supported Digong. So no matter how I explain to them ano yung maling policy, they love the guy and the best they can say is, maganda intention niya, sorry na lang may mali kasi may mga scalawags
Yeah.
na police.
Yeah.
Pero,
So
Richard-
hindi monolithic eh.
Yeah.
May
Richard,
fanatic, pero maraming layers din yan.
Pero Richard, these are
But I have 30
increments.
seconds
These are
on that.
increments eh. Yung dominant na support sa kanya, ang pinanggagalingan pa rin talaga, crime. No, anti-drug.
Correct.
Yun yung dominant. Yung iba ay increments na pwedeng nakadagdag. Halimbawa, inabando naman niya yung federalism eh.
Oh,
Kung nakita niya na
yeah.
walang traction.
And divorce also.
Yeah.
Inabando naman niya yung mga increments
Na
na yan
magastos.
eventually.
And
Ang
divorce.
tingin niya,
Amongst many campaign
dito ako
promises.
sisikat, dito ako
Oh.
mananalo, ito yung gagawin ko. Kaya nga, nagbago na siya ng linya. Nag-nationwide federalism campaign siya. Eventually ay nag-focus siya doon sa papataya ko na 100,000, itatambak ko sa Manila
Manila
Bay, no, etc. etc. So nakita niya ay weaponization eh. Weaponization. It's not about, again, legitimacy. It's about weaponization,
Ronald,
tacticizing. Nung tingin niya
Moral
na,
stance kasi kay Ronaldo.
weaknesses ng mga tao.
He's taking more. I was just being a social
Yeah,
scientist.
I know.
That's the
People
difference,
who
yeah.
like Duterte say that they feel safer going home to their communities during his time. Aren't those legitimate issues?
But you have to look
No,
at the
that is not
numbers.
legitimate. Dahil akala mo, bumaba yung crime. Actually, tumaas dahil ang daming murder. Ang daming pinatay extrajudicially. No? Kaya, ibig sabihin, pwedeng merong nakaramdam, na secure siya, pwedeng hindi naman totoo yun. Pero titingnan mo yung objective situation. No? Ngayon lang nagkaroon ng ganong karaming murder sa ating kasaysayan. No?
This is where I agree with Ron in a sense that there was a climate of fear, which I think explains the 90% also. If you look at the established survey, very interesting. 8 out of 10 Filipinos supported drug war. Pero 7 out of 8 out of 10 din takot na ma-EJK. And then 7 out of 8 out of 10 din ay ayaw na ma-EJK yung drug pushers. So ano ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin, gusto ng tao na may gagawin ng presidente na decisive sa issue ng krimen, pero may reservations pa rin sila dun sa mga nangyayari at natatakot sila. So actually, there are very solid news studies coming out saying it is hard to really take the popularity numbers of Digong fully seriously. I mean, I'm not saying it was not popular. I think 50, 60%.
No, yeah,
pero
for
yung
sure.
mga 90 ganon, that was in a climate of fear,
But also,
climate of...
meron talagang may iwan dyan na ang tingin ay dapat talagang patayin yung mga yan. No? Iba
wala na tayong magagawa dyan, Ronald.
Ibig sabihin, kahit
wala na akong magagawa dyan,
overwhelming majority ay i-condemn si Digong, palaging may matitirang
Of
ganyan.
course.
That's populism.
Yes,
Yun yung
of
sinasabi
course.
natin. Sa
Of
Europe may
course.
ganyan. Merong hardcore talaga na
That's what I'm
sangayon
saying, like MAGA,
mangyari yan.
US. Again, I know that some people will get, like every country has that kind of parang populist, right-wing or populist base.
narrative.
But the fight is for the silent majority. And I think on the silent majority, if you actually explain, you engage, you fight back, you can win. So when I said that new 40,000 subscribers, I believe they belong to that 67%.
Silent majority.
Kasi in the Pew survey, if you look at the Pew survey, the Filipinos were asked, do you want a leader who follows constitutional order or strongman? 10% said strongman, 15% said checks and balance, 67% could go either way. So ang labanan dito is how to win over the 67%. Kaya huwag kayong makinig kay Ronald. Huwag kayong makinig sa lahat yan. Maniwala kayo sa akin. You jiu-jitsu your way. When you get bullied, you fight back. You don't give in. And then mag-apologize ka on the sides and then fight back again. That's how we do it.
What kind of advice is that?